and we're here again with another trade recap. Today we made $1,220, and I'm going to show y'all on how I executed that. So let's get straight into it. Alright, so I felt like today was, my bias was to the downside, and I'm going to show y'all how I got to that point. So I marked out a bottom of a 4-hour candle here, because we were inversing that, coming down here. And then we got London low here. We got London high here. And then obviously we got pre-market there. All right. So then I waited so as market opened, we kind of came up here and we took out London high there. So as soon as London high got taken out there, my bias was even further fortified to the downside. So now I knew that my bias was to the downside there. And then a confluence of mine also got hit, sweeping out London high. As you can see, a lot of liquidity got swept there. Let's also move over this 5-minute there, because I feel like it's a little bit cleaner there. All right, so obviously we know we watch candles move on 1 and 5-minute, us day traders here. So I was just pretty much looking for an entry at this point. So as this 5-minute candle came here, I felt like we needed a little bit of a reversal, some manipulation. So I waited for at least a couple of candles to get here, and then I did something a little risky, which I would not tell any trader to do. And I was just very confident that I knew that market was going to the downside, and I knew that this is how people get their stop losses hit or they lose their accounts. I was just feeling confident, and I entered here on this blue candle there. And then don't ever do that. Wait till a black candle closes, or another thing you could do is wait till you see at least 3 candles here. This is the reason why I entered, actually. I think I remember now. I saw this candle close, and then on 5-minute we were actually bullish there, but I was just very confident. So I waited till 3 candles, 3 black candles. You can do that. That is something that I do, but I feel more confident on waiting until a 5-minute black candle. This would have been a better entry right there. So you can do that, or you can wait till at least 5 1-minute candles closes on black. Well, for me, because obviously that's to the downside. So wait till that happens, and then you can enter into a trade. And then I had my take profit like right here, but then class kind of ended, so I took profit a little bit early. I just wanted to make sure I was in the green for the week. So yeah, that's kind of what happened there. And then eventually all of my draws on liquidity got hit. So that was really great. So I think I originally had my TP there. Then I kind of moved it a little bit, even though this would have got hit at like lunchtime. So I couldn't really trade there and then. But yeah, that is something that you can watch out for. And that's how I made that. So just on a note, because I saw some people revenge trading, and I just don't want anyone to do that. So this is moving away from the trade, and then I like to leave off on my videos with something that you can take home if you're trading, or just mindset things. You know, you would just want to make sure you have consistent green days. And I know that sounds like cheesy or like cliche a little bit, because we all want green days, but just stick to your trading plan. Don't stray away from it. And then obviously if you lose some, I only recommend either taking 1 to 2 trades per day, and if you lose on both of them, just step away for a couple of days. You don't even have to trade out the week. Just step away. I feel like that would fix a lot of problems, because you can actually like realize, because in the moment you're just like, I want my money back. I want my money back. And that's not good. I mean, the market already took your money. I mean, there's no way. I mean, obviously there's a way, but like, you're just too greedy and you're too impatient at that point in time, and you're just not thinking straight. So, just accept a loss and move on, because I mean, we're all gonna have red days. So and then on a side note, make sure you're not risking too much. If you feel confident in a trade, and just take your standard 1 to 2% and just keep going on with that. Don't add on 5 more minis onto that. I mean, not minis, micros, but or I guess if you're trading with minis, then yeah, don't do that. Just stick to your standard 1 to 2% of your account, and then obviously remain calm under pressure and evolving emotional impatience decisions like revenge trading and losses. So that's just something that I wrote down there. Just make sure you're not like you know adding on to your position after you're like just taking too many positions there. And then obviously, journaling always helps. Like, why did I lose this? What bad entries there? Obviously journals really great. But I don't really like to write down things. I just like to make these videos just so I can help you out. And also I like to review them if I lose some trades there. But I've been pretty consistent, so that's always good. And I always like to go back and look at what entries that I could have taken better. For this example, I probably should have entered like somewhere like right there instead of just entering straight on that blue candle. But on 1 minute we were already bearish there, so that's also something. And then adaptability, the markets are always changing, strategies won't work every single time, so you obviously need to shift. Don't be so drastic. Maybe instead of this 4 hour draw on liquidity, maybe 1 hour is maybe a little bit better. Just switching up your strategy, but don't switch it up after you take like 10 losses. I think it's actually you at that point. If you're taking 10 losses, I think you need to reevaluate what's going on inside your head, other than just blaming it on your strategy. That's something also that you could look at as well. Just things that that we should all be aware of as traders. So that's something that I'm gonna leave off on. Just make sure you don't revenge trade, and then don't risk crazy, and then always evaluate your trades, journal them. That's pretty much the best thing that any trader can really give you. I don't think that's bad advice in any way possible. Journal, make sure you risk only 1 to 2%, and then always have something to look back on. So I think that's something that I'm gonna leave off on, because that is just great advice in general. All right, guys. So I'm gonna catch you all back, and hopefully tomorrow's trade recap. And don't revenge trade.